The Diary of a Certified Psychopath. Off the crank. Moving on to ever more tenuously tessellated topics, that is, a few herring-gull hubbubs after I'd submitted 2 militantly accurate meter readings to British Gas, in the cold, hard, and still all too frequently fossil-fueled light of our country's spiralling energy costs, I'm nonetheless reassured that many places of peaceful worship serving the contrasting faiths and ideals so readily embraced by their defining deities' devout believers elect to illuminate themselves outside of office hours. I mean, how else would any stray soul seek their benevolent sanctuary after Earth's radiant solar sage had succumbed to rusty dusk below a burgundy horizon, to the final psalm of a sublime evening chorus, and deferred duty of enlightenment to stars far too distant to reveal a trail of breadcrumbs on Nottingham Forest floor, let alone one's mortal path to redemption? I'd hoped, for the sake of my bony knees and fragile back, that the hassocks and pews inside this St. Leonard's idyllic Christian haven were of the ergonomic variety. Regrettably, in the small hours of what by coincidence just happened to be a mercifully mild spring Sabbath, my attempt to solicit absolution for the cardinal, or I should say, cardiological sin of unstructured training was fruitless, since the whole place shuts up shop at 4 p.m. sharp. Just after, the most terminally Reverend Timothy hopped inside that van you see parked on the double yellow lines outside, clearly not erging on the kerbside of caution in his bid to evade a parking ticket from any nearby sleeping policeman, who hadn't spotted his pastor's permit and would then be compelled to repent for obstructing our good Lord's omnipresent ministry in the course of its divine obligations. At the risk of yet another tiresome tangent, I should mention that this late 19th century Anglican church, situated at the west end of its namesake road, where Hove borders Portslade Newtown, stands next to a rather sinister building surrounded by deciduous sentinels that my father once swore was a Masonic lodge, and still radiates an ominously Lynchian aura. A cursory consultation with the crutch of knowledge's all-seeing cartographer, also known as Google Maps, identified it as Church House, which I could have also established by reading the sign, and therefore implied its close affiliation with venues constructed to facilitate the philanthropic teaching and assimilation of biblical texts. However, the only premises I was able to unearth on the internet that bore this name was located some 30 miles down the coast in Chichester, which was also referenced on the sign. Could this mysterious building seamlessly teleport through interdimensional space, or somehow exist simultaneously in 2 of Sussex's popular seaside resorts? And whilst warmed to the subject of ideological scriptures, and precisely what separates divinely conceived preachings from faith-founded pyramid schemes, let me state my firm belief that a cult will charge you an arm and a leg to turn every page of its doctrine, whilst a religion, by contrast, throws the whole book in your face for free, then asks you to donate generously.